I just drove an hour to pick up this collection. It's Memorial Day, about 6:30. It's been a long day. Aaron and I have been painting the kids' bedrooms all day, and we had family stuff all day yesterday. But when you find a good deal in Marketplace, you got to jump on it. Got a bunch of totes back here ready for it, and hopefully it all goes smoothly and I get everything. And I'll be sure to ask if they got anything else left to sell. So we'll see how it goes. I'll meet y'all back here. All right, I'm back. I bought the whole collection of, I think it's like 70-ish paperweights for $350, so about $5 a piece. There's a few pretty good ones in here, some average, and then some low-end one that I'll probably donate or find a home somewhere. He was a collector that took it pretty seriously. This is a spreadsheet of the majority of the items in this collection. Looks like he had crossed out a few of them. These bells in the center were made by Prestige Art Glass out of Elwood, Indiana. These were limited edition bells, 1 to 25. So I have set number 11 and number 25. These are from 1997. I think the certificate says. You can see the markings on the bottom. Prestige Art Glass, 1997. I can't find any of these sets online, but I mean, I've got 2 of the 25, so they probably don't come up very often. He also took notes of his stuff and kept other items that came with the paperweights. I'm so thankful on some of these that he took the time to label everything. Because some of them, if I show you, it's nearly impossible to read these signatures unless you already have an idea of what they're going to be. But he labeled them all. So like number 21, that's going to be Roger Vines, 1989, egg-shaped purple flower with spiral at the bottom. And so these ones up here, they all have some names on them, but they're less common. This is Bohemia glass in Czechoslovakia. Less common in terms of this collection, where there's some of these have 10 plus paperweights by the same maker. This is a pretty cool one. Yeah, I can't even make out that signature either. I'll be able to give you more info once I get to the ones that are local to here in Indiana, and I can give you a little history about them. This one, I don't think had a mark, but it had a nice look to it. This was Swaziland, in Winna glass, Winya. They might be silent, Winya glass. It's an egg, so it just rolls. This one I recognize without seeing the LE in front, Levay, Levy. This one had a little mark somewhere, but I can't quite make it out. This one is OBG, ornamental blown glass, 1990. It's got some decent value to it. It might be 40 or 50 bucks. This looks like a Millefiori style, handmade in, might be Scotland, so it's Strathern. Neat one. This one's got some decent value in the $50-$60 range. Lundeberg Studios, 1994, and then I think it's numbered right there. Sorry if I'm going too fast for y'all. I got a lot of weights to get through, and I'll be talking more detail about some of them later on. This is Lefton. I didn't know they did glass paperweights, so they probably contracted somebody else out to make those years ago. This is another cool one. Some nice controlled bubble in there, and it's Eichholt. This is one you want to look out for. You'll see it from time to time in fancier homes pretty often. Eichholt, 1991. This might be a $100 paperweight. It's tough to know since I need to learn some of the descriptive terms for what's inside there. Here's a multicolor one. A lot of these, like, yeah, it's got some rough spots. So I'll have a few Zimmermans coming up here. Handmade by Zimmerman, Corydon, Indiana. That's southern Indiana, down by the Ohio River area. These all might be Zimmerman back here. Like these two big heavy monsters. Whoop, knocked over that little guy. Oh, what do these weigh? Oh, this one's Monte Dunlavy. But I'd consider these door stoppers. Sorry, it takes two hands to move some of these around. Oh, big, hefty. Another Zimmerman. You'll see Zimmerman. You'll often see this Z on the bottom. And then you'll see etched name in there. It's amazing that they could work with those at the end of a rod and blow in those controlled bubbles while they're doing it. Another Zimmerman, Bart Zimmerman, B over Z. It's a little bit later one. The other one's a little earlier. Alright, what do we got up here next? You'll see this style from time to time if you're out. Murano. I don't know how to say the word. Latticino. Latticino. Is that kind of like twisted ribbon? But that heart might be worth 30, 40 bucks. And I wouldn't call it a paperweight, it's hollow. This one, what do we got? Oh, it's another word. I can't even read it. Here's a style of paperweight that I collect. This one's Joe Rice. He's out of Elwood, Indiana. That's 45 minutes north of Indianapolis, give or take. Some of you might have heard of St. Clair paperweights, which there's some over there. I think he's like a son-in-law. And as of the video, I think he's still in business. I went there to his factory a couple years ago and bought a few pieces because I collect St. Clair paperweights because they're just here in central Indiana. You find them so often. And they got a lot of really cool ones, so I grab them up when I see the ones I like. So a few of these will probably stay in my collection. Here's Jeff Butler. I'm pretty sure he's another Indiana guy. If you're noticing, like a lot of these controlled bubble ones, and then there's some more over there from Indiana. There's quite a few Indiana makers that do this style, the flower and bubble. Like this one is Gibson. I forget where Gibson is though. You'll see Gibson from time to time. I think this is another Gibson. Yeah, Gibson. And then I think this is starting the St. Clair pieces. I mean, you can see side by side the style of it. They're all about the same. Yeah, Joe St. Clair. He was the more famous St. Clair. There were a bunch in the family. Bob and Maud were his parents. I think they were brothers, Ed, Joe, and maybe two or three others. I should have brought my book out here. I got a little pamphlet book on the history of the family. Here's a nice little pattern, another Joe St. Clair. Let's see. These little inserts are called sulfides. This one's a butterfly, and it's just marked St. Clair. I forget if it's true, but I'd heard that way back in the day, I want to say late 60s, early 70s, maybe 60s is when they started marking them. And that was because of, what's his name, with the, Dagenhart over there in Ohio. John Dagenhart had talked him into marking stuff. Like, I think this is early St. Clair. I could be way off because it's so easy when they all look about the same. But ground bottom, no mark. So that might have been pre-marking. I like this cute little strawberry. Got the little dimples. Marked Joe St. Clair. That'll probably go in my collection. Here's some orange on green. St. Clair 1971. It's got a little bit of that ground bottom to make it flat. Another Joe St. Clair. Cute little bird. I don't know if it was ground down at the factory or not. Probably not. They probably broke it and did it themselves. Here's another little sulfide. Little Persian cat with a butterfly on its tail. Marked Joe St. Clair. So these sulfides I showed you, now the cat and the butterfly. I don't know which ones I'll keep. I'll probably keep one of the cats, but they usually go in the 50 to 150 range on eBay for sulfides. The rarer the sulfide, the more it's going to go for. Like here's another cat on pink, Joe St. Clair. A nice example of a controlled bubble throughout. How they did, I mean, can you imagine how much work that took? That's beautiful. Yeah, another Joe St. Clair. Here we got, I think this one's also marked Joe St. Clair, a pear. You don't see these pears in this color very often, at least in my opinion. The pears might stay in my collection. Here's the other one in green with a little variant in the green and white. Joe St. Clair. Another controlled bubble, this time in an apple. Yep, Joe St. Clair. And then here we go. Just a Bell paperweight. Yeah, you see how similar they all are. I think that's the end of the marked St. Clair pieces. This was unmarked. It's like a pulled feather technique here. I wish that was marked. It's a nice looking piece. This is another unmarked one, but now it's got me wondering if it is the same as this left in minus the sticker. This one's got some cool color to it. I really wanted it to be Swarovski, but I couldn't find the swan anywhere. Here we got a cool little letter opener. He might have had that marked in his book. And for those of you who don't know, these companies made so many cool things with their paperweights, like St. Clair's and them. I've got a few lamps in the house. They've made putters where the putter head is glass. Just so many novelties and other funky items. Fireplace, andiron sets. Lots of stuff that is harder to find. I've got a few, so these are that more that Millefiori style, but they're not marked. They got a nice look to them. They also did toothpick holders back in the day, little mold done toothpick holders. So these ones are all unmarked that I'm going through right here, just to reiterate. And so I've got a couple of the original cast iron molds. I bought them for my collection a few years ago that could make the original toothpick holders, which is pretty neat. And no, I wouldn't reproduce them or anything like that, but it's just neat to have a piece of history and save it from the scrapyard. Another controlled bubble. Oh, this one was marked Prestige. I think here back are Prestige, so I'll get to those in a minute. And if you see one of these that's unmarked that you know what it is, oh, I'd love to know. I'm appreciative when viewers help me out and identify stuff. I'd messaged them at first about when I saw the picture of this, asking if it was marked on the bottom or anything, and he said made in China. But if you find a Joe St. Clair rose, I guess the rumor was that he had tried to make 500 in his lifetime, and he died younger than expected, so he never got around to finishing them, and they'll command a premium. Hundreds of dollars up to thousands depending on the size. Cute little kitty cat. It's got nice spirals in it. Real pretty. Another one, no markings. I think the clown had a marking. Nope. No mark. And then here's another. Looks like the style you could go pick up now at TJ Maxx. Made in China. And Going back, these are all prestige art glass, including the sulfide kitty that looks like the other kitties. They're also located in Elwood, Indiana, like St. Clair and Joe Rice are, and they're still chugging along to this day. The bells were also prestige, so the guy was a big fan of prestige and seemed like he knew the owners pretty well. I'll show you a couple of their marks. So this one, even says Elwood, Indiana, 1992. Here's that kitty cat playing with a ball of yarn, 1993 prestige. And then we got a pumpkin. What would have made these cooler, in my opinion, is putting each individual artist, like having their own stamp, like the St. Clairs and a few of the others do, like Zimmerman, Gibson. I guess Gibson really doesn't do that either, but it's kind of neat to collect specific artists. 1997. Here we got a little flower bud vase. Here we got little perfume. As you can see, yeah, candlestick holder. Just lots of funky novelties. And like I said at the beginning of the video, I asked about extra stuff that they had for sale, and I bought a bunch of tools. Like I spent another $250 on tools, but that doesn't really go into this kind of video. Not the target audience at all. But yeah, thank you all for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe. Hope you enjoyed the little bit of history. If you have any questions, comments, or want to correct me, go for it. All right. Peace out, y'all. Later.